I'm Jess Lenore for the Real News Network. Shut down D.C. Activists have disrupted Monday morning's commute at intersections across the nation's capital to demand urgent action to address climate change.
So it's critical for us to stand up and make sure that we have to do what was done before, from the gay rights movement to the civil rights movement to the women's rights movement, to make things awkward, make things uncomfortable, make things in a way that we have to stand up. Listen, when there were folks at the lunch counter in Greensboro, when four young brothers who came from North Carolina A&T and they went to the lunch counter, listen, I'm sure those who were eating their breakfast that morning didn't want to see four black guys sitting at the counter. They were more than apt to drink their coffee and eat their eggs. But if we had let them be comfortable, we would still have a segregated society.
These actions are building on Friday's youth climate strike, which brought 4 million people to the streets in more than 150 countries around the world. These actions in D.C. are happening as world leaders meet at the UN in New York for high-level meetings to take concrete steps to address the climate threat. On Sunday, 130 banks that hold $47 trillion in assets, one-third of the global banking sector, said they would align their business goals with the Paris Agreement. But activists say this is not enough and that the Trump administration has advanced policies that threaten the climate.
Take action. Take climate change seriously. The United States is just so responsible for this problem. It's time that we actually did something about it. Well, it's the communities who have done the least to contribute to this problem who are being hit the hardest. And we owe it to them to stop climate change as quickly as we possibly can.
The activists are from a coalition of groups, including Black Lives Matter, 350.org, and Extinction Rebellion, who have carried out a civil disobedience campaign across the UK for the past 9 months.
Here that we're breaking down silos. And so you have Black Lives Matter, you have nurses, you have labor, you have Just Become Action Network, you have 350. So you have groups that are coming together who've all been impacted by the climate crisis, now coming together.
Activists said they aim to bring D.C. to a standstill to send a strong message that inaction or denial of climate change is no longer acceptable. The Trump administration has sought to withdraw from the Paris Accord and roll back regulations on fossil fuel extraction and emissions. They say they will continue a week of action until policymakers take warnings by the UN and climate scientists seriously.
I care about the next generation and generations to come, to leave a good environment and home for them, and we've been given a very short timeline. Even before we were given just 12 years, it was clear that because of what's happening in the climate, there's things that are happening that we don't have any more time. It's a climate emergency. It's an absolute emergency, so we don't have time to just go about business as usual like we've been doing every day in this, so-called developed world.
With Cameron Granadino, this is Jess Lenore in Washington, D.C.
Drop it like it's hot.